Hi, kids.
You made it just in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a doctor's appointment, so I'll stay on as long as I can.
Okay. So let's see. Today is April 16th, 2026. I got that right. And um the for the power of the pen, we're discussing the Ruth Holmes chapter on graphological types for visionaries. And I wanted to I know Ruth doesn't really need an introduction, but she's she's been this is the family of three generations of graphologists, and I find I I've always been like trying to study and learn about how to market and do business with graphology, but I have learned so much from Ruth. And in fact, she did like a little lecture a little while, just a few weeks back, incredible on ideas about how to attract business and what to do. And so I'm not surprised that she's really has awards and has been kind of recognized in the women's business uh, associations and stuff like that in Michigan, where she lives. And I know, I know, Ruth, you have
You're
so many.
very, you're very kind. Thank you.
What is it? No, go ahead. You have a lot of talents, so I
Yeah,
really have for all of them. But it's the graphology, and she does also work with the forensic um, question document stuff. So I'm going to just turn it right over to you, Ruth, and we'll get.
okay. Well, thank you very much. Well, I'd like to welcome all of you and give you a little introduction about how this happened. How did I get to do handwriting and the visionary? And I'm going to hold up some of mine because this is what we're doing today, is the secrets of the visionary. We
Let me
know.
give everybody a cue here. You can pin her picture. You go up to the dots, put your cursor up to her picture, and there's two dots, click on that, and you'll see pin, and her picture will become really large on your screen. Okay, so you can
Wow.
Oh.
doing
I got to
okay.
put on more lipstick. Sorry.
Okay.
Anyhow, this is what we're going to do, but I wanted to tell you how it happened. I live in Michigan, and somebody came to speak in Michigan, and her name was Marilyn Ferguson. And Marilyn Ferguson was a very well-known author. I'd not heard of her. She wrote a book called The Aquarian Conspiracy. And that was to say, we all are part of a conspiracy. This handwriting group is an Aquarian conspiracy, which means breathing together. We're doing the same thing. And the fact that it's Aquarian is the fact that it is rather new age. And she began getting into this and she began studying, what is it that makes people do what they do? And she's got 11 books out there in 11 different languages. And she's no longer here, but she always thought that people have a vision. And this, don't you love this picture?
Wow.
This is what a visionary does. They come off of a cliff. Anybody studying handwriting, this is what we have done, folks. We don't know where the heck we're going, but we've stepped off a cliff, haven't we? That's where we are. And so she wanted to study why people actually were able to show their talents in their handwriting. And she thought, well, I'm going to study them. And so if we go to one of the pictures right there, let me pull this up right here. She thought if we could get a number of ways, push that okay, if we could get psychologists together and people to test their brain dominance, the Ned Herman brain dominance, we could figure out why people achieve things, and not many people do. She asked if I would look at handwriting of 100 people she'd named visionaries. She defines a visionary as someone who who sees the invisible and does the impossible. And a lot of people get stuck there. And I just think that that's a great definition, don't you? I thought it was a little bit lofty because you think of a vision, a dream, an idea, an insight, maybe it's an artist's talent. But this is what she said. And if we could test these people and learn about it, maybe we could get it into our schools early. And so that is what she did. And she said, what happens, unfortunately, is that we have talent, but look what happens to the talent. Have you ever felt this way? You've got talent, you're a butterfly, and you can't get untangled. And so this is what she wanted to do, is to figure out why this happens. And so she contacted almost 100 people. This actually says 74 on it, that she considered visionary. Do you know the name Jean Houston? Does that mean anything to you?
Yes.
So I could go through this, and there are people on this list that you would recognize. But she asked them to fill out a 6-page questionnaire of their early childhood trauma, what they remembered, and things like that. And they all submitted these questionnaires. Others went and visited psychologists at the Ned Herman Brain Dominance Institute. He's got great material. And I think Judy said she went to his website. This is Ned Herman. And Ned Herman is the person who tested the brain. And this is almost like some of the Myers-Briggs and things like that. So you find these quadrangle, and I'm hoping Mark Cypher gets on. But she had them all tested, and then she put them together. And that is what I was part of the handwriting, and it was fascinating. And now I think that I decided that visionary was a little bit lofty. And so what I did was to change the visionary title to creative, because I think everyone is creative. And you know, I'm always quoting everything, quote, quote, quote. It is darkest under the candle. Well, I think that that's what happens when you talk about a creative person. They just don't know it. And as handwriting people, our job is to show them how we see that. So with the help of Mark Cypher, because I had broken all of these handwritings into different categories, I said, you know what? Let's see if we can find what is the path of these people who are very successful. And we're going to be looking at some of them. What is holding them back? Do they have a plan? They have an option? Can we get into our schools? What is the strategy to speak about them? And perhaps our bigger assignment as handwriting analysts is to find out what their obstacles are. Are they subject to criticism? Is it in the T's and is it in the D's? You know, are they too occupied with money and things like that? Competition. So today, what we're going to look at is what I found in the handwriting of these people. And I think this is one of my favorite cartoons as we look at creative people. And if you can see that, can you see that? You said you saw the answer there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Can you read it again?
Yeah. Let's see. Those right-brainers are easy to spot because they never have both oars in the water. Yeah.
That's a good description of us, isn't it? They all think we're crazy folks, don't they?
Very good.
I think that our oars are not in the water. So that's where we are, for sure. So let us step off the cliff. And now, if we can move to some of the slides that we began to find in the handwriting, or I began to find looking at this and visiting with these people, is that the handwriting was the most accurate in spite of the brain dominance and things like that. The Gregoric test, I don't know whether you're that style delineator. Gregoric was one of the testers in there. And they began to look at all of the test results, which was absolutely fascinating. And at the same time, Marilyn Ferguson was fascinated because she had another book about outer space. She thought, and this is when you say, what is Marilyn doing? she was also part of the Roswell files. She said the connection between America and what is going on, we just don't know. She wanted to study it from the inside, and she wanted to study it from the outside. And that's what she did. In fact, one of the people whose handwriting I analyzed, and I don't know whether I could bring his handwriting up right away, must be on another one, but he was so convinced that her work was beyond the pale. He refused to meet. He said, and I think it's I'll have to look up. His name is Whitley Strieber, and he insisted we meet in New York City in a closed cabinet because he said that he had been actually abducted by aliens.
Oh my
I
God.
go, oh my gosh! So I'm not in. I don't know where you go with that, but he just said there is so much that we do not know about ourselves and our brains. So, Victor, are you ready to bring up a pair of things like that? Page 1? Any questions so far? To be part of this team was a great honor. To meet Ned Herman was amazing. And then the cast of characters that came in was really phenomenal. Okay, I have had a blessed life living overseas for 11 years. That's what it says there. And they're so far ahead of the Americans in terms of handwriting. Here we go. You're going to go back to page 1. Did we lose him?
Victor?
Sorry,
Victor?
I had it on mute, so
Yeah, go. You
Yeah,
have to run up to the top of this document.
you want to start at the top, right? Or
Yes.
Okay.
of the handwriting, or
Go to the very stop at the very top, but you're controlling this. I don't have any control of that. So if we can go to page.
well, you're the one in control.
Oh.
Just tell me what to do.
I want to go to page 1.
Okay, got it.
Okay, of where we started. Okay.
Yeah, right
If
here.
you understand how I was invited to become part of this team to try and find out what we could about that. And so this is the introduction about Marilyn Ferguson, the Aquarian conspiracy. And she was considered, look at that, a watershed book of the New Ages. She was into anything that would help breathing together. It's not evil or spooky. Breathing together is what she was talking about in describing that. So I can't make that scroll, can I? Okay.
No, just
So there's, it says breathing together. And then she wanted to find out the natural visionary abilities. And it's just not super duper people, but I found looking at these handwritings, and I have almost 100 handwritings that I looked at, and those are the different things that they were all put through. The fact that you could get 75 or 100 people to go through this was pretty amazing. So they sent samples of handwriting. Some did it very well. Some did not do it very well, but they were on unlined paper and they signed them. And then we got together. We went to Los Angeles and I had an opportunity to meet these people. So there are the researchers. The Berkman test is something you can look up. Again, it's a personality profile. And you can keep scrolling.
okay. Yeah,
This is, of course, in the book.
uh,
Okay, she believes that the common traits of the visionaries could be identified. And if we can identify them, therefore, we should be able to teach them. I mean, look what we're losing. I mean, we lost the cursive writing out of the schools. What else are we going to do? We're not using our brains, of course. Let's scroll a little more.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks, Lynn.
Victor?
I'm here.
Okay, keep scrolling.
Got it, but okay. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. I wanted to stop. So what we found is that one of the features that appeared in all of the handwritings was the idea that these people who are successful, and these are people who are already identified in music, art, dance, theater, these people were already successful. And that's what we were trying to find out, if there were things that could be identified that made them the visionary, or is it something else? So if you can scroll down here. The analysis. So this is what I found that they all had in common. So if you can take this idea, and if I could use the transparencies that I have, but I would show you. I put in the middle of my transparency that they all 4 categories had something in common. So we're going to be looking at all of these, and all of these people who submitted handwriting and were already visionaries and successful had this. They had heavy pressure. So the energy there, we know we can identify energy in handwriting by the pressure and the spacing. So that was the first thing I noticed, that I could feel the handwriting on the back side. So this is what all 75 or 100 had in common. They had intelligence, but it wasn't all the same type of intelligence. It was different types of intelligence. It was right-brained, it was left-brained, and things like that. All of them had these. So the originality in the letter forms, a powerful determination to overcome that. And of course, we would see that in the downstrokes of the handwriting, well-balanced writing, the trizonal zones in the handwriting, and the great downstrokes. Okay, you can scroll. Good. Oh, you're doing very well. And then this is where I mentioned Mark's cipher. The first stage, after we found all of those things in common, is that I could literally take these handwritings and put them into different categories. And that's what you're going to see in a few minutes. We know copybook writing. Copybook writing can be boring. It can be doing this. But just because you're pushed down doesn't mean you're not going to come up. So that was the conforming creative. The conflicted or compensated creative, wait until you hear the stories about those people. But I had them 2 different categories. But Mark said, you have to do everything in 4s. And that's why I put the conflicted and the compensated together. And then you have a versatile and productive. I can understand those are pretty similar words. And then the empowered, when you finally get it and you get rid of all the trash and everything. So we can move on.
So I had a question.
Yes.
Just so originally you had like 6 categories.
That was 6. And then I put those 2 together right there. That was Mark's idea.
Yeah. Conflicted was one. Compensated was another.
Yes.
Versatile was another. And the productive was another.
Yes.
But you put those together as you showed there.
That was the point of doing that. And it turned out that wasn't a bad idea. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Mark. Yes.
Okay. I wanted to just say here that in a lot of work like this, they have subcategories even to their main ones, Ruth. So
Okay.
that's kind of that's interesting that you can distinguish those 2 within that one the category.
Well, Mark pointed out that it was pretty close in terms of identifying how did I do it. I mean, I think we can all identify what a conflicted handwriting would have been. And then those people who compensate, it's the compensated ego, the converted introvert that we talk about. And so that's how I put those together to get us back into that 4 category. So
Yeah.
I'd love to hear anyone's ideas and disagreements. But again, when we look at this, these are the categories that I broke out and put together. I think everybody certainly knows, if I'm talking, because remember, I presented this out there in LA, and I had to explain what I had found to 50 people who attended this conference out there. And so I used their wording. So I would say, this is a traditional handwriting, conventional forms. I could tell they're very logical, methodical. And we as handwriting analysts, we know that we can just go over to that right-hand category. We know we're talking about copybook, boring old copybook, or the next. So this is what we're going to be looking at in learning and looking at these other handwriting, the actual handwritings. So the people who were listening to me heard the characteristics. Oh, you're very traditional. You need to belong. And then there we find for handwriting people, we have the graphics that we look for.
Are you welcoming reflections right now?
Yes.
I think this would make a great study in the area of leadership in this world. Just find out who the great leaders are and what makes them great and put it together. Another area I think would be spirituality. You know, all faiths or there's a lot of people. Spirituality is a high interest item today. It would really be great to know what they have in common. You know,
I'd love to say that this could have another edition of it in terms of leadership, because not all of these people were leaders. A
Mhm.
lot of these people are represented, and you will see it eventually, go by the statement, the more you are, the less you need.
I was
Mhm.
And maybe
thinking
you
of
need to,
this week we had Eric Swalwell, and last week it was Cesar Chavez. You know, people
yeah.
who we thought were great leaders, but they also had an Achilles heel.
Well, I think that if we look at some of the handwriting of our leaders now, we're going, whoa, how did that happen?
That's right.
Knock up enough
That's right.
people. So you walk on others. We walk or we stand on the shoulders of other people,
Yes,
for
indeed.
sure. And I think, again, along with this whole idea of finding the visionaries, they say it is a joy to be hidden. It's a tragedy not to be found.
Mm.
And I think so many people, they don't get their talents found. They pick up a job as a secretary somewhere, and maybe they should be doing something else. Okay, so the compensated and convicted, those were my most interesting people, because when I heard these live stories of where these people were coming from, I think you have read about that, but I will tell you as we're looking at the handwriting. But there you have the handwriting characteristic on the right-hand side, the complex, the twisted forms, and all of those things. And productive, versatile, of course, you can scroll a little bit there. You really got yourself a job, didn't you, Victor?
I'm good with it.
Okay.
I I grew up with a lot of sisters, so I know it's good to follow
Oh.
what woman tells me.
Oh, goody. Well, it's darkest under the candle. Just keep shining your light there. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So the productive, versatile, these are people who are out in the mainframe. They are out there doing their thing, because he said a lot of people don't want to show off or something like that. But this group of people, they definitely get things done. They're ambitious, they're goal-oriented, strong willpower. And if you can imagine sitting in a room with 40 of these visionaries there in LA, they loved to hear that they had a lot of initiative and they were mentally gymnastic and they were fantastic. And then to some people, I know that we don't like to tell people where we are finding it, but that's where we find the handwriting characteristics. And these are short lists compared to some of the others, but it is descriptive. And then my favorite category, and I don't find a lot of these around, but the empowered creative. I like the word empowered because it's self-actualized. I don't know how many high form letters or writings we look at. I think they're disappearing, quite frankly, that we don't, because people are so anxious and they're so nervous about proving themselves, they aren't spontaneous. But to find a really high form print script writing, independent, lots of integrity, that we as handwriting people know the forms that we're looking at. Okay, we can go on and start looking at handwriting.
Okay, I'll move.
Ruth, I have a question. Did
Go
you
for it.
find any difference between introverts and extroverts?
Yes. I believe that the
And-
difference, an introvert is somebody who has reflection before expression. The letters are going to be closer together. Actually, we can start right here. Here's a perfect example of introverts. Now, I don't have any signatures on here, but these are two very good examples of introverts. And as I said, an introvert is somebody who thinks before they speak. An extrovert is somebody who speaks before they think. And then so many people are what we call the converted introverts. I think that they act and talk when they need to, but they really don't need people. So I like the word converted
A
introvert.
lot of control too.
Oh, it takes a lot of control. But when you look at these two samples from the description, they're putting in there, and I put them together because I think they share characteristics. But the person on top, graphically, when we look at that, I mean, that makes me shake. It's so close together because of the narrowness of the writing. And you can compare that to the list that we just went down in terms of the copybook, the connected strokes, the controlled writing. And her vision was to create something called the Giraffe Project. And the Giraffe Project was recognized by George Bush when he was in the presidency, for anyone who would stick out their necks. And isn't it interesting that this woman created a national organization to praise and recognize anybody who did something different? And whether because I met her, I think it was collecting plastic bags at the school and working on recycling. I mean, who would think about doing that? I guess everybody will do it now, but that was reaching out. And as I said, if I showed you the 100 transparencies I have behind me, I would give you some specific example. But this is a lady who really did a wonderful job in terms of telling people to take a chance, do something different. And Marilyn Ferguson would say, this is the conspiracy. Get everybody in the classroom to come and bring their plastic bags. Let's save them. Okay.
Well, what's amazing to me is, we talk about copybook as people who are kind of held back, but they're not. If they have that inner drive and they have that vision, they can use their traditions and copybook forces for a lot of creativity.
And that's why, as I said, these are the obstacles that this person would need to overcome. The criticism, they can't afford it, there's too much competition, and I'll fail at it. And this is part of our work that we should be able to look out for these people to help them along in the process. The person who is a number 2 here has anybody heard of Lucia Cappuccioni?
Yes. Drawing
Okay,
on the right side of the brain or something like that. No, maybe it's the left side of the brain. Whichever side.
Good for you. Well, again, this is the woman who had offered the books about drawing with children and drawing with adults. Now, we had that fabulous lecture of the artists in our group. Holy mackerel. We have so much talent in this group, and they actually went out and did it and do it. And so this is what she travels around the country with. And I don't even know if she's still alive. But she explained, without handwriting training at all, that she teaches children to see shapes, lines, circles, dots. And if you have any idea about getting into our schools, or even if somebody just has toddlers, let's keep the boards up there. Let's not make things clean and on those typing machines. Let's put up big do they even have blackboards anymore? I'm not sure they do. But get the whiteboards up.
Yes.
And this is, I'm trying to think of our friend in Colorado, where it was Jean, yeah. In any case, she was going into the schools because if we can get them to use lines and curves, squares, anything like that, we're going to help our students. And so her book, do you remember, Debbie, what the name of her book is? I put down Drawing with Children and Drawing with Adults. And that's Lucia Cappuccioni. So she's somebody to check out. Any questions about the conforming creative? And can you understand why we called it a conforming creative? There's nothing original here. They're such good girls. But when we were living in Belgium, I had somebody come up to me and she said to me in French, trop bonne et trop bête. I said, are you calling me stupid? No. She said, too nice is too stupid. So let's get away from stupid and convention and things like that. Let's take some chances. Okay?
I'm not clear, Ruth. Are you showing this conforming creative? Are you saying that's Lucia Cappuccioni's writing?
Yes, that's her number 2.
Okay.
But, it's the fact that she was teaching lines and curves and things like that, it would convince anyone that each of us has an artist inside. And I think we certainly learned that in the lecture last week, finding out about these talented people in the handwriting field that we have. And I'm curious, of course, how they got to the handwriting. They were artists first, and then they were handwriting. Okay, and here, now we jump into something quite different here. If you contrast these two compared to the ones that we have, these are anything but conforming. That they look very different, the tangling of the lines. And we as handwriting people know that there's a certain amount of trauma that impacts a handwriting that would make it go crazy like this or whatever it is. And the internal confusion that we see here, the inconsistencies that we see, and kind of the escape behavior. Look at the downstrokes in that top writing. So when you look at that, some of you might remember Renata Griffith. Do you remember Renata?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
She was powerful. I was speaking in Arizona, and then we decided sometimes you get in a car and you don't really know where you're going. And we were going up into the mountains I think we were in Arizona or Colorado. We were going to Tahoe. And so we kept on driving, and we saw a sign at one place, and it said turn right for pictures. And we went in and we we found ourselves at an art school, which was fabulous.
Wow.
We kept on going. We talked to them, and we drove into Tahoe. Does anybody know where Tahoe is?
Yeah, I live right near it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Oh,
between Reno and Sacramento.
very good. Well, have you ever been there and been to a hotel called the La Fonda Hotel in
Nope,
Tahoe?
I've been to a few casinos though.
Okay, now the truth comes out.
Lamentably.
Okay. Well, when we got in, sometimes, again, you should let the car drive itself. And we drove in, and we were on the roof of something eating, and they said, what do you really need to see here? And they said, well, you need to go to La Fonda Hotel. And we went in, and I said, we'd like to see the owner of this hotel. This is the owner of the La Fonda Hotel. And he said, well, people don't really know my secret. Have you ever heard of D.H. Lawrence?
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
He's an author and he's an artist, is he not?
Mm-hmm.
And he had some pretty provocative pictures. I can ask my artists here.
Oh,
He
yeah.
had some pretty provocative pictures in his life. But interestingly enough, Saki Carabas took us into his private offices, and on the wall, and I should probably put into my lecture, and might be in, but I'm not showing you, he had a collection of the D.H. Lawrence collection. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So he had the naked nuns going by, the school children. I mean, my friend Renata and I were absolutely shocked. Can you come up with any of his pictures there, Lena?
Okay, let's see. I know he did things from Taos, I think, but let me just check.
I think he's died, and maybe Betty knows that. But here we are, total strangers. We said, who should we see? And they told us to go see Saki. And so that is Saki's handwriting. He was an immigrant from Greece, and his family,
Excuse me, are we talking about the top or the bottom writing?
the top one.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
And he'd come with his mother from Greece, and somehow they had acquired the D.H. Lawrence collection of pictures. And here they are
wow,
hanging.
interesting.
Wow.
Here they are hanging in a hotel in Tahoe. Am I in New Mexico or am I in Arizona? I can't remember. Is it Arizona?
What?
I
It's
don't know.
California or Nevada
What's the question?
Where's
I want to
Tahoe?
know where is Taos? I guess it would be New Mexico.
Tahoe is right
Mexico.
on the border between Nevada and California.
Okay. So anyhow, we have this man who is showing me the walls, showing us the walls. He was totally fascinated by the handwriting. We did his handwriting, which was wonderful. And he said, they're trying to get this art back to England. And he said, you know what? I'm not sending this collection of art to England until they return the Elgin marbles to Greece. Betty, do you want to
Oh, I love
explain
that.
that? Would you explain that, please, Betty?
Oh, well, yeah, the Elgin marbles, like were the frieze from the Parthenon that Lord Elgin stole, after the Turks blew it, blew it up, and they're in the British Museum right now, and there's been a lot of resistance and a lot of Greeks. I mean, we've been trying to get them back for a long time. I think they're reaching some sort of a compromise, some sort of a resolution. But yeah, it's been going on for 150 years, 200 years.
Isn't that a great story? Here,
I love the
this
story.
man
Love the story.
in
Love it.
Taos
Yeah.
has the collection. Renata and I are having a great time eating in his restaurant, having the best old time. And he said, well, when they return the Elgin marbles to Greece, we'll return the Neapolitan. So I don't know whether the Elgin, I know he died, and I got a story about that too. But
Wow.
he just said, we're going to have a trade. So I don't know whether they've gone there or his family sold it off. But I was in the middle of choosing a jury for Jack Kevorkian, and he called me when I was about to give the decision for the jurors, and I did not call him right back. And I was called by someone in the hotel to tell me that he had died. And I'm so sorry I didn't talk to him. I was doing that. So in any case, but the Elgin marbles are the friezes. Those are the little statues around the top of the Parthenon. So it's a great story. Okay. All of a sudden, Saki Caravas got very tiny, but we visited each other. Whenever I went to the West, I would stop to see him. Anyhow, any questions about that handwriting? Can you make that bigger?
Yeah, I think. Let's see here.
It looks like my early handwriting.
Oh, really?
Does that
Okay,
help?
I have it, it's on my screen about like that big. It was nice and big before. Can you pull the corners out?
It's big on my screen.
Okay, it went teeny tiny on mine. It didn't touch
What do you
anything.
make of the big lower zone?
Well, he was never married, but he had those sexy paintings in his hotel. So I don't know. We can only identify aptitude. We can't identify skill. So, all right. Maybe I just pull mine out.
Well,
Okay.
Okay.
Ruth, I'm just texting you a few of his paintings. I'm just texting you a few.
Oh, you're texting, or can
I don't know how to get it on here for my iPhone.
Okay, let me see if I can hold it up. Maybe I'll be able to hold it up. Okay, Lena. Oh, well, that's not so sexy.
No, I'm trying to see here. Wait.
I mean, I just remembered the naked ladies and naked nuns or something
Okay,
like
so
that.
I'll look for those.
Okay. In any case, do you want to make any comments about his writing? Because again, there is a converted introvert. He could not have been more friendly, more social, more outgoing and things like that. But it's a really tangled handwriting, don't you think?
Well, and look at the way he's making those T's. Am I seeing that right? It's like he's making circles. Is that a T? It's hard to tell because it's so tangled, but
I think those are persistence loops, what you're talking about. But there's so much drive in this handwriting.
And that's what I would call
it's the heavy pressure and it's the push forward.
Yeah.
So that's his success. That's how he brings it to the world.
I guess that would be, he has what I call the dynamic triad, which is persistence, determination, and enthusiasm. Look at the T-bars.
yeah.
He can tell you all the celebrities in the world visited him. Tab Hunter. If you were a celebrity, you went there, and very often you stayed at his hotel. But he had pictures all over the place. And here's an interesting story. I told you that we had ended up at an Indian's art gallery, and that we stayed in his hotel. And then he said that evening, he said, I would like to bring you with me. And we got into a car and we drove to an Indian reservation, and it was total darkness. And we went in, and the Indians, I don't know whether they were Pueblo Indians or what Indians we were, but we were honored with the most amazing ceremony. Renata and I are sitting in there. There's
fun.
one single light coming down, and they honored us as guests of sake, and they served us some drink. We didn't eat anything, but to be driven away from this hotel in the dark onto a reservation, and then to sit there with sake and his communication with this Indian,
Wow.
it was amazing. So he
So-
knew everybody and everything.
Oh. Is this is the handwriting, the characteristic where the size of the middle zone varies a lot? Is that because I'm seeing that here?
Well, that's the compensated ego.
Or is that
You-
okay?
That's the compensation. So you try to prove to other people who and what you are not.
I got
So he
you.
doesn't want to see insecure. And he was
Mhm.
he was very, very strong. Look at those downstrokes. But you can see where it is. And there's conflict there, but
Yeah.
it's a compensated ego. Any
Oh.
questions about Saki Karavas?
Amazing. What a thrill to be able to hang out with these kind of people.
Yes, and I continue to go back and see him. I can't remember how old he is. I have all the information about ages and dates and things like that. Okay, so that's the compensated ego. And then we get down to this one, and this was really something too, when you find out that this was a very well-known film producer. And I can, I have the names of all of these because I found my that. But in part of getting the samples, they had to fill out a chart. And he was a man who, when I interviewed him, I asked, what can you remember about your own childhood? Because I wanted to know what was the explanation for the wide spaces between the words. Are you with me on that? So
Mhm.
that comes up in our list as early childhood trauma. And then I wanted to know why some of the letters were crushed. I can't even, a separation with egos, the myth, the frustration of death. One of the movies that he produced was with Gregory Peck about a little boy who knew they were testing nuclear arms in the western part of the US. Some of you who live out there probably know that. They were testing atomic stuff out in the West. Anybody know about stuff like that going on? Lena, you
That's
probably
some
know.
time ago, but it happened.
It happened. So
Yeah.
here was a little boy who got into trouble at school because he was protesting that. And so I said, well, what is your early childhood trauma? He said, well, my parents weren't, very affectionate with me. And I said, and the earliest memory you have? Well, they would put me out in my snowsuit, and they had a dog, and then he was on a chain with the dog. So the dog was on the chain, and this child was on the chain. And
Huh.
I said, ooh, at least your dog was friendly, right? And he said, my earliest memory was waking up in the hospital because the dog was his role model. And the dog had captured a woodchuck. And
Ah.
the dog and the boy were eating woodchuck.
Huh.
And the early memory, his first memory, was having the woodchuck pumped out of his stomach. Now we can see a few things in handwriting, folks, but we don't get woodchucks. No.
Not
But-
unless it's that dot in the middle of the G in
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
okay. Okay, just kidding. But can you imagine that story? I mean, we go from the Elgin marbles to the woodchuck. I mean,
Oh,
and
Wow.
just to spend time with this man was fascinating.
Yeah.
And then if the movie that he wrote, Amazing Grace and Chuck, is the story of a little boy who tried to make a difference, and he redid the fact that he went to the school or something, and he tried to stop the bombing or the testing of bombs there. And I don't know whether Gregory Peck was his father or
Ah.
or he got it to the presidents. And so I mean, it's an amazing story. So are there any questions why I found in that handwriting? Oops, I lost you. Did you switch me?
Where are you?
I am on my, okay, okay, I got you back again. That we can find the crushed middle zone in this writing. We can find still high ambition, but the inconsistency with the high T-bars and then things that get really tiny and crushed. The ambition and then the resilience. This guy continues to this escapist behavior with the large loops, the sensitivity to criticism. Your comments, please.
Yeah, but he keeps pushing forward. I mean, that baseline, that energy, that enthusiasm, it's always there.
So you can understand how I came up with a conflicted creative in
Yes.
here with an amazing story.
Wow.
I'm that's curious about how he's making that little extra squiggle in his G, which is really like about kind of like a tendency to obsess that I think is it's a lot of that passion that he has that's pushing him forward. And yet it expresses what you're talking about, that there's like this theme that's also that same obsessiveness can keep him from moving forward. Do you see what I'm saying, Ruth?
Yeah.
So I find it interesting because that's exactly what the conflicted compensated thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
because trauma, it can hold you back, but it could also spur you forward. It depends on how you're going to use it.
Well,
Yeah.
it's almost that the reason he got into producing films is he could rewrite his life
Exactly.
at the same time. So he was the hero of his own productions, as I said, triumphing over tragedy. And I didn't put the woodchuck in. Well, I did put that in the summary. Early memory was being changed outside with a dog he tangled with. I didn't say he ate the woodchuck, but I did put that in there. Oops.
Wow.
Do we know if he had any sexual abuse?
No, I don't know that.
Because the G has a dot square in the middle of it, which could be a breast, but and then if you look under it,
I wouldn't go
third
there.
word.
I didn't go there and I wouldn't go there.
Yeah.
I know he's tremendously successful and I didn't go there.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the woodchuck was enough.
Really?
Okay, can we go on to the next one? How are we doing for time? We all right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Now this is what I call productive, the person who just gets things done. This is actually the writing of Marilyn Ferguson, who asked me to be part of this study. And then you have the bottom one is a man who was a writer. Well, and he was married to Gloria Swanson. Does that name ring a bell?
Yeah.
Yes,
For
yes.
15 years. So anyhow, the top writing, again, I see that different from a conflicted creative, and I see it different from the compensated creative because it just gets things done. But you certainly can see her annoyance with the dashed eye dots and things like that. It is a form of print script, but not as developed as the next ones we're going to look at. You see the dashed eye dots so that you know that there's a temper there. And any comments about that one?
There's more of a give and take, the bouncier baseline, and more not as solid a push, more affected by other people, not as totally inner directed.
Okay.
The T-bars are very interesting, very heavy and forward looking.
Right. And remember, I had all of the characteristics that they all had, that heavy pressure, determination, and so very good observation there. So That was part of it. But she had little patience for things not getting done. And I told her writing ability, research ability, and speaking ability, even though I believe that she's a converted introvert as well. But that is Marilyn Ferguson. If you look up her books, she has a number of books. She also had a book on living in Europe on $2 a day. I don't think you can do that anymore, can you, Betty?
No. I think I
Okay.
saw that book. I remember seeing that.
You can't even buy
sometime.
gasoline for that.
No,
$2
forget about
a
that.
day. Wow.
You're gonna have to thumb your way across. And then this was an amazing person. If Tamara is still on, Bill Dufty is his name. He wrote a book on sugar blues, and he knew all of the stars. And when he was a publisher in New York City, he sat down at the conference, and Gloria Swanson sat down beside him, and he was having a cup of coffee, and he was putting sugar into his coffee, and she slapped his hand and said, "That will kill you." Well, they got together. They were married for many, many years. That was who was living with Denny Fairchild, Tamara.
Right. And he
Yeah.
played the piano at my house. Yes, he was a sweet man.
Oh my gosh, he was a pianist. He was phenomenal, but he was with Gloria Swanson, who is the singer that he was with. And he was with her when she died, a very famous African-American singer, dancer. She died in Paris, I think. Give me a famous.
Oh,
You can-
I see
you can-
her.
Yep.
I can see her.
Tamara, you got to know this. Come on, Betty.
Oh gosh, I see her.
You'll get it. It'll come back to
It'll
us.
come.
Yeah.
Anyhow, he wrote the book and he produced several films, and Bill Dufty is this man's name. And I loved his handwriting from the get-go. And I asked him to be would he be my visionary in here, because he was a writer, speaker, and he didn't care about anybody else. He just did his thing.
Josephine Baker.
You got it, dear. Okay. You got it. She wore a big hat, didn't she? Maybe.
Yeah, she was quite provocative too. Yeah.
Right. So again, versatile, productive. He didn't waste time. I think Gloria Swanson ditched him at some point in time after 16 years. But William Dufty is the name of this man. So I give this the whole idea of a productive, versatile person, because it exudes the self-confidence. He's motivated, didn't care what other people thought about him, mentally super smart, mentally gymnastic, great willpower, resilience. And I think we can all see that in his writing. Got it?
Yeah.
Questions about the productive, versatile? I liked him better than the top handwriting myself, because the other one has more of that compensated ego. This guy lived his life. So we'll go on to the next one. Here we go.
Boy, Ruth, I see you met a lot of celebrities.
Well, I've been blessed by meeting a lot of people. All of you are top of my list here.
Yeah.
Okay, here we find the top writing here. And as I thought at one point was, well, one of these is Tracy Alexander. I'm going to say that the Tracy Alexander might be the bottom one. And I might have repeated the fact that the one, all right, I'm going to go for the one on the top, that is somebody, and we're going to dip into my lecture, and I'm going to show you, if you heard my lecture the last time, I showed you the handwriting of somebody whose writing changed, if you remember. And this was the final production. This is an art therapist. She's in Virginia Beach now. And I look at this, and this is so simplified. It doesn't have the fight that the conflicted person or the other person, that compensated ego. This is just a smooth writing. There's just moves along. And so this is where we are looking at. All right, I'm going to change that. I'm going to say this is the therapist on top. And she is somebody who has the book called The Dragons at My Door, or The Tigers at My Door. But she was abused for years in her family. And as I said, look at this handwriting. The handwriting does not show abuse unless it is still bothering you. Do you agree with that statement?
Mhm.
a very self-actualized person, inner peace. Do you see negatives in either of these? Because I think they're
No.
almost twins if you look at them
No,
together.
they look so similar.
They are similar. So they're authentic, they're autonomous, independent, non-conforming, nothing like copybook or anything like that. And I think it just shows that you can get through whatever it is. And remember, we were talking about the fact that, if we can overcome these obstacles, and I think this is the difference between the earlier writings and the film producer, redoing his life in pictures and stuff like that. And then you have the empowered creatives here. And I believe, and if this bottom one is the person, he was head of a very big publishing company. We met at the Waldorf Astoria in New York City. And I said to him, I said, what do you want for the rest of your life? You want more girlfriends, more money, more car? I mean, he's a gazillionaire anyhow. And he said, I had done his handwriting for him and everything. And he said, I have something to say to you. And I said, yes, I'm listening. He said, the more you are, the less you need.
Huh.
The more you are, the less you need. And I think that is one of the most profound statements I have ever heard. And it is so unusual to find it. Does anybody like that statement as much as I do?
Love it.
Love it. Yeah,
Statement. Couldn't
it's
be
very
better.
true. Yeah.
So
The more you are, the less you need. He said, I don't need anything. And I said
Would you see that in these wide spaces?
that he doesn't need anyone. Yes,
Yeah.
I think that,
Yes.
this person has learned the difference between the joy of solitude and the tragedy of loneliness. Does not need it. And I think it's a perfect example of that, as opposed to the woodchuck guy. And we've got a whole new language, haven't we?
Yes.
So we have that here.
Wow.
So I think we have one more thing. Any more questions about the empowered creative? Here's one more statement. They know what they have, they use what they have, they share what they have, and in the end, they give it away. The more you are, the less you need. They know it, they feel it, they use it, they give it away. Amen. Do you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fabulous.
that makes sense because it's about the release and the giving and the flow of it, the moving forward going. Yeah. Let's see.
Any questions?
Oh, that's
Did you learn something? If you want to jump over to the other one, I will just show you one of the participants in this. Do you know how to do that?
what
Well, first of all, are there any questions about what we have here? Can you apply it?
Do you think in order to have that empowered word, the empowered creative, that you need to have good spacing or extra wide spacing?
I do. I do think, because I think you have to see things clearly, because if it's all tangled up and messed up, or it's too tight, these are really calm writings, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if one of these people has been sexually abused for 14 years, it should be insane. These are beautiful,
Beautiful.
handwritings.
Yeah,
So
we
maybe
saw
we're all
that
looking at-
in Lena's and Betty's handwriting. They have those big spaces like that.
Right. That's exactly what it is. And you'll see it. Well, one of these cases, I threw Jack Kevorkian in there because I think he's an empowered creative.
Oh, I would
If you
love to
don't-
see his writing. You have his writing, Jack
Mhm.
Kevorkian?
I don't, I do. I can show you Jack Kevorkian's
Oh.
handwriting and some of his art, but that's a whole nother lecture.
Oh,
But-
okay,
Okay,
another time.
okay. Any
Yeah.
questions about that?
right here for
Well, yeah, I didn't realize that this was when you said, like, during the art thing, when you looked at my writing, my early writing and then my later writing, I didn't really understand. So it just happened that I came to this lecture, so
I'm so
I
glad.
have clarity now. Thank you.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, it's very real. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I only expect if you're at a higher level of confusion than when we started, then we've succeeded today.
Yeah. And
Okay, how do we switch over there?
which one do you want to?
I wanted you to go over to that one because I wanted to show you the transition that we go through. If we're going through, go to my lecture. Can you get there? Or do I push share?
Let's see. Do I have your lecture?
Yes, I just showed it to you.
Lecture. You have your lecture.
Oh, there it is. Okay, now how do I open it? Push
Okay,
share?
You go down to share.
Share.
Open the that little box, and you should see it in the window. Do you see it?
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Do you see it?
Yes.
Why don't I see it?
Oh.
Bell!
What is it that you wanted to share?
I wanted to share a person who went through these creative types. You are screen sharing. Why can't I see the picture?
No, your screens. You're sharing your screen.
Yes, but I have nothing but Zoom on my screen. It says
Go over to where your
PowerPoint.
where's your slide app?
Okay, there's my PowerPoint. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on here. Can you see that?
Yes.
There.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
there.
Okay, so I have all of the pictures on the side, but can you see this? If you can see this,
Mhm.
what do you think about this handwriting? Now that you know my typology of creativity, because I changed it from the word, what of the typology, what would you say?
Conflicted.
Conflicted.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why
Yep.
do you say
Conflicted, right.
conflicted?
It's jumbled.
Can
It's
you
just,
make it bigger?
Cramped.
Anybody have another opinion?
oh, that's more normal.
I'd call this pretty conforming.
Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
conforming. Yeah.
But again, you can get in, but follow all the rules and regulations.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to move on here very tight. There's no forward movement. It doesn't go to the right. It doesn't go to the future.
Okay.
Now we go here. What about this person?
Oh.
Do you like that person better? Oh gosh,
We have Barack Obama now.
I need to go back.
Yeah.
How do I get back to where I was?
Scroll up.
Oh, there was Jack Kevorkian's handwriting in case you wanted to see
Oh,
it.
where?
There we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
You can see why I called him that. Okay, I'm in a mess. Okay, how do I get back to where I wanted to be? I need to get to slide 297.
297.
Oh, you got to scroll down. Oh, I think it went a little too far.
Okay, let me go back here. Appreciate your patience, folks.
Good there. Yeah.
Okay, all right, we're getting there.
Yeah.
Because I was going to also do Maslow with you and show you how Maslow falls in there. There's Jung.
Oh, okay.
297. I'm going.
Well,
Here we go.
and this is the thing, Ruth. I'm going to tell everybody here to stay on Ruth to give us a series to see her whole lecture.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
no, that'd be great. That would be wonderful.
Okay, so now if I go to this one, okay, that's where we just lost it. Okay.
Okay,
See the
go
wide
up
spaces?
2 more. You have to go up 2 more
Okay, I
slides.
showed you the first one. This is the second
Yeah.
one. And do you like this person any better?
Oh, I see.
Wide spaces. We saw that in our
Right,
woodchuck
yeah.
person. What
Right.
about
A
this
lot of
person?
rivers.
Do you like this person?
Mhm.
Love it.
I love this writing.
Beautiful. Folks, we have a job as handwriting people. Stick with me.
Mm.
That's all the same person.
Okay. Oh my.
Oh,
That is
wow.
all the same person.
That's how they evolved. They evolved. Yeah.
Amazing.
Isn't that fantastic? So
Yes.
very religious family. She was punished if she didn't go to church. You know, they'd say, you didn't do that. You have to go and confess. She didn't do anything. And they had no money. And she took the charcoal from the fireplace and started drawing on paper bags.
Mm.
And then she could afford a little bit of paint. And the first person that ever saw her art bought 107 of her paintings. And she is now a therapist. And this beautiful, beautiful handwriting. And
Wow.
you'll say, well, oh, how long did that take? Well, that took a number of years. And she met
Yeah.
a handwriting analyst in there. This thing goes so fast. Oh, gosh. Okay, here we go. Be patient. Thank you all very, very much. Oh, I think it went the wrong way. Anyhow, okay. 297.
Well, let's
We
not
just
get
saw
Bernie
Bernie
Madoff
Madoff. Yeah.
again.
Where's the, yeah.
Oh, so sorry.
Oh,
Okay, coming up now. That took a number of years. If you look at this writing, do you like this handwriting?
Yes.
What do you like about it?
Fluidity.
Okay, and what in the typology you learned today? Is it conforming? Is it a conflicted? What do you think?
Conforming.
Pretty conforming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty conforming.
Okay, what about this handwriting right here? Please don't jump away from me. What about that handwriting?
Ah, that's
It's pushing forward.
Mm.
And you see the difference between that other person, that other writing and this writing is the difference between a conforming creative and a productive creative.
yes. Yes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Guess what, folks?
they're the same.
It's the same person.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They evolve. Yeah, it's the evolution. Yeah.
This is 3 months finding the right job.
Really?
Oh,
Yes. That's where she is now.
Oh, the
And
right
this-
job. You're saying that she got the right job is what you
Yes.
said? Yeah. That makes a
Yes.
big
And
difference for people. Yeah.
there we are. This is our job as handwriting people. It's darkest under the candle. We can shine some light on these people. And we
Yes.
can make a difference. I think I'm over time, but I have enjoyed being here.
Oh,
there any
we loved
questions?
having you. This was wonderful. Thank you.
want to say anything, Ruth. I wanted to hear you as long as you would go.
Oh, you're sweet. Well, let's see. I'm only at I've got 497 slammed on this PowerPoint here.
I think you make a really important kind of caution for us graphologists about how handwriting changes and how character changes. That's so important. It's the reason I'm kind of looking at connecting with people that are keeping journals, this whole thing about
Oh, yeah.
to be able to not just have a single sample of handwriting, but to be able to look at the changes over time
Right.
as you develop. I think
I've learned, I've learned over the years, I asked for each decade of their life if they can submit samples to see if it, progresses, regresses, what happens. And yeah, it's pretty fascinating, the evolution of a person.
Right. And you see this visionary lecture, that was something that came out of the blue for me, but I think we were all skilled. I mean, can you see my whole thing now?
yeah.
Right. Because again, I had been trained with introvert, extrovert with what we just saw there. You all know that, and you can apply some of what you just learned and from that chapter in The Power of the Pen, thank you for doing that, that we can see these things and how we apply it to our resumes and here. And I also had gone on to do, if you're familiar with Maslow, or is anybody familiar with Maslow? Because you can apply the same principles that we just did.
That's right.
And this is what I call my doom loop, and happy people and all of that. That's another day. on that. So anyhow, folks, that's the story.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
this is
you.
beginning, right? Introduction to your longer series of lectures.
Right. Okay.
Ruth,
Remembering
Ruth
it's
is
never
so
too late what you
mind
might become.
expanding.
What did you say?
I said, you are so mind expanding. We have
Oh.
to now absorb it.
Oh,
And
goody. Goody. Not being asked to change yourself, you're being asked to be more of what you already are.
Mm.
Love that
was-
quote.
That was very cool.
Yeah.
So you know I like quoting things.
I love
don't you?
your
Love it.
quotes. Yeah, just keep them coming. They're
Oh,
wonderful.
Eagle status.
Fabulous.
That was Maslow. There's Maslow.
There's
Yeah.
Maslow.
You can
yeah.
apply absolutely everything that we just did. So this is the Maslow guy.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so we can apply that. The self-actualized is the empowered creative. The ego state is the compensated. This is the copybook. This is the really tight copybook. This is down here. This is moving. This one is stopping. So we got enough to play around with now, folks.
Makes sense.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Well,
Okay, folks.
yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
It's so
Thank you, Emma.
wonderful
Come
how you
home.
point out.
I'm on my way.
Oh, this was an interesting. Those are twins. You can't tell them apart
No.
if you see them, but they're
Oh,
different.
that's great.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
But now you
that's
have
great.
the vocabulary to know one is a conforming creative and one is a compensated creative or productive creative.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But
I will
I
just-
think the
Thank you.
beauty, Ruth, of this is if we encourage people with their moving forward traits, that's the whole idea, to say, oh, your creativity could move forward if it's where your strengths of moving forward and point that out to them. And I
Mhm.
think they take off with it.
I think it would. This, do you remember Enron?
Oh,
yes.
Yes.
This is the man who brought down. I met Sharon. This is Sharon Watkins, and she went and told him. He said, "You've got a problem in your department," and she went public and she brought down that whole whatever that company was. I got fun
Okay.
samples here, folks.
Wow.
Oh my God. Yes.
Anyhow,
That's
all right. You better cut me off.
well, if
I'll
you
cut
For Lady Gaga.
remember, you just click on that red button that says end sharing or stop sharing. Do you
Stop
see at the
share.
top? There should be like a little
Stop share. How's that?
stop share. And then we all come back. There we are.
You
Yeah.
got it.
Thank
Okay, folks.
Okay. Thank you,
You
Ruth.
got it.
Thank you
Yeah.
so
You're
much, Ruth.
amazing.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
It's
You're amazing.
Bye.
you didn't go
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, Tamara, come home.
Yeah, I will. Next week. I'm on my
Okay.
way.
Okay. Thanks for your help, Victor.
Oh, you're welcome.
Good
Anytime.
grief.
It's
Good
easy.
grief. Okay.
I'm really looking for the whole lecture. You take your time. Maybe a book.
You got 10 days? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna, no, what I need to do is take, because this was a 4-hour lecture on the visionary, because you saw only one.
Right.
I've got all the transparencies.
Yes. What you do is you break it into sections, maybe do one a month or set it at your own rate,
Wow.
It's not bad.
I'm
Okay.
gonna go set up some composites for a fraud examination.
Okay.
Okay, bye. Thanks for your help, Victor.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Take care, Ruth. Bye.